In this video, we continue our introduction to Python by focusing on functions. Functions are reusable pieces of programs. They allow you to give a name to a block of statements, allowing you to run that block using the specified name anywhere in your program and any number of times. This is known as calling the function. We've already seen some built-in functions such as length and range. The function concept is probably the most important building block of any non-trivial software in any programming language. So we'll explore various aspects of functions in this video. Functions are defined using the def keyword. After this keyword comes an identifier name for the function, followed by a pair of parentheses, which may enclose some names of variables, and by the final colon that ends the line. Next follows the block of statements that are part of this function. Here's an example that will show you that this is actually very simple. We define a function called sayHello using this syntax. This function takes no parameters, and hence there are no variables declared in the parentheses. Parameters to functions are just input to the function so that we can pass in different values to it and get back corresponding results. Notice that we can call the same function twice, which means we do not have to write the same code again. A function can take parameters, which are values you supply to the function, so that the function can do something. These parameters are just like variables, except that the values of these variables are defined when we call the function and are already assigned values when the function runs. Parameters are specified within the pair of parentheses in the function definition, separated by commas. When we call the function, we supply the values in the same way. Note the terminology used here. The names given in the function definition are called parameters, whereas the values you supply in the function call are called arguments. In this example, we define a function called printMax that uses two parameters called a and b. We find out the greater number using a simple if-else statement and then print the bigger number. The first time we call the function printMax, we directly supply the numbers as arguments. In the second case, we call the function with variables as arguments. PrintMax x and y causes the value of the argument x to be assigned to the parameter a and the value of argument y to be assigned to the parameter b. The printMax function works the same way in both cases. When you declare variables inside a function definition, they are not related in any way to other variables with the same names used outside the function, i.e., variable names are local to the function. This is called the scope of the variable. All variables have the scope of the block they are declared in, starting from the point of definition. The first time that we print the value of the name x with the first line in the function's body, Python uses the value of the parameter declared in the main block above the function definition. Next, we assign the value 2 to x. The name x is local to our function, so we can change the value of x in the function, and the x defined in the main block remains unaffected. With the last print statement, we display the value of x as defined in the main block, thereby confirming that it is actually unaffected by the local assignment within the previously called function. If you want to assign a value to a name defined at the top level of the program, or not inside any kind of scope such as functions or classes, then you have to tell Python that the name is not local, but it is global. We do this using the global statement. It is impossible to assign a value to a variable defined outside a function without the global statement. The global statement is used to declare that x is a global variable. Hence, when we assign a value to x inside the function, that change is reflected when we use the value of x in the main block. You can specify more than one global variable using the same global statement. For some functions, you may want to make some parameters optional and use default values in case the user does not want to provide values for them. This is done with the help of default argument values. You can specify default argument values for parameters by appending to the parameter name in the function definition the assignment operator equals followed by the default value. The function named say is used to print a string as many times as specified. If we don't supply a value, then by default the string is printed just once. We achieve this by specifying a number argument value of 1 to the parameter times. In the first usage of say, we supply only the string and it prints the string once. In the second usage of say, we supply both the string and an argument 5, stating that we want to say the string message 5 times. We have focused on the aspects of functions that you will most likely come across in your everyday Python programming, but we still haven't covered everything. To be successful with more complex programs, you will need to learn much more about functions. Next, we'll see how to use, as well as create, Python modules.